Hi, I'm Jay. I'm working on my new kind of creation here. It's a grommeted joystick from Groovy Game Gear in here. And I like the feel of grommeted grommeted joysticks way better because I used to play games back in the 80s. And I like the feel. This one mechanically will shift from 4-way to 8-way with that. See, it is really stiff because I don't want any play whatsoever. And also I have a way to move in grommet, so it's for like Defender, it's just a 2-way, or for Galaga, just a 2-way. That's it. You can also turn it to 45 degrees for Q-Bert and play it like it's supposed to be played. But I'll go into that later with the video on that. What I want to do is, how are you going to install something like this? Well, because it is round and, so what I did is I made a template so that we could cut a round circle that would be precision for this. So anyway, we're going to do that with a router so that you can see what I'm doing here. So anyway, the router is unplugged because you don't get around the blade with the router plugged in. So anyway, I made this little grommet that goes on top of this 5/8 standoff on the router, 1/4-inch bit. You put that on there, so maybe you can see that a little better. So you place that on there, and now instead of it being a 5/8 guide, it's a lot larger guide. So that'll be the hole we're going to punch through. So anyway, let's do it. Also, don't try to punch through all at once, because for one thing, usually the blades don't have enough blade for that. So it's better to go 1/4 inch. We're going to do about a 1/2 inch, but it's better to go like 1/4 inch swipes. So here we go. I went around a couple times to make sure I didn't have, because when you're going around, sometimes you don't do it perfectly and you'll have a bump. So if you go around twice, you're more likely to get it smooth. Also go clockwise because it'll pull it into the guide. So let's add like a 1/4 inch and go again. Make sure this is tight. But we ended up going all the way through. I did it in 2 swipes. You really should do it in probably 3. But anyway, so that's that. Now we have to cut the outer down so that the bearing will recess. So once again, unplug, and then remove this device. Probably a good idea to use a screwdriver or something so that you can get that off of there. But this guy, see how deep that is? That would be way too deep. So you're going to be pulling that way up. And so what we're going to do is measure. I actually have extra pieces, so I can do this more easily than you can. But take 1/4 inch stuff, add this, and then move it until it's just poking up a little bit. So maybe like a 32nd of an inch, because you can always shim it up, but you can't, it's harder to dig it out with a chisel later. So the depth is set correctly. So if you look closely, you can see that it's just slightly up. So it's going to be a little bit deep. If you really know what you're doing, you can do it exact, but I think it's better to, if you're not an expert, and make sure this is tight, because if this is not tight, you'll end up having a big mess. Also, the 1/4 inch bit, you're taking off like a 1/2 inch. So what you got to do is you got to eat away at all this and go all the way around the edge before it's a good shelf. So let's go for it. Well, I guess we're going to plug it in because I unplugged it like I should have. Yeah. We have a nice shelf there. You can take a chisel and scratch it, you scrape it out if you have a few little things left over. But this should pop right in. See, it's a little bit too low, but you can just put a washer under each bolt and bring it right up, or do something else to shim it up. But if you went too light, then you're going to be up here. And that's more work to overcome. So anyway, that is that. And then I'll take this off. Make sure before you undo this too, you make sure that it does fit. Because if you didn't get it perfectly round, it may not fit. You'll still need to take more off and keep the thing on until the bearing fits. Because otherwise you're going to have a lot more work. So let's take this off. So there's our hole. And then this is the full-blown device. And then you'd make sure that your holes are, square, so that the upper would be perfectly square, straight. And so there you go. So I'm like, I'm a 16th too low, so I need a couple washers to bring that up. And then so if you're going to, like, say if you had this set 4-way, you just turn it over to here, put it in there, and you're at 45 degrees, and you're playing Q-bers. So that's pretty good. And If you if you put these in, then you got Defender. So two-way. But anyway, I'll cover that in another video. Thanks. Bye.